Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
We're so glad to have you this Sunday morning to visit with us with the Samaritan Counseling Center. You've met them the last 2 Sundays, and they've been talking about all the counseling programs and services, this wonderful facility that we've got that reaches a need like no other in our community. They get referrals from doctors, ministers, employers, or someone just comes in and says, I need counseling. So we are visiting now with Becky Cagle, who's one of the licensed professional counselors, and with one of our board members, and Chris Ray, who also is a State Farm agent, is here to talk about from the standpoint of the governing body. Part of being a 501(c) nonprofit agency must be that you have community people from your service area that serves as the governing body that makes the policies and procedures. So we're happy to have both of you back. And Becky, when we left last Sunday, we were talking about some of the services, and we had talked about marriage and family counseling and women and children in domestic violence situations, issues related to divorce, premarital counseling, coping with loss and grief, which is a big one, and veterans counseling. But also we didn't talk a lot about blending families, but this is one of the things that you have to do. And then we come up to some of the children's problems, and that's with ADD or ADHD or some of those.
Yeah, it's one of the things I think we're starting to diagnose more efficiently is attention deficit disorder or hyperactivity disorder, and it goes on into adulthood. I mean, one of the things that we can do through good counseling is help them grow management skills, where they learn how to manage their challenges with this ADD or ADHD.
And the care and treatment has changed over the years as we've learned more and more about it.
Yes.
What about personality disorders? What is that? Is that like eating disorders?
We don't deal with eating disorders. That's a very intensive treatment, and we usually will refer to a residential treatment center where they're in-house for that kind of treatment. It's a dangerous disorder.
That's like a drug rehabilitation. You have to go there and stay.
Yes. Some of the others would be like borderline personality disorder, specific things like narcissism, that sort of thing.
Anger?
Oh, well, yeah, anger management is it's just its own issue. A lot of people have never been taught good skills for managing their anger, and that's one of the things that we can help with a great deal. I've found with the men that a lot of times depression's coming out as anger, and if we start helping them treat the depression, we can also manage the anger a lot more efficiently.
And depression is something that affects children all the way to senior citizens.
Yes.
And then vocational and career training. I had forgotten that we did that counseling.
It's an important part of the whole mind, body, and spirit. When you are, like for a lot of our veterans, they're going back to school. And one of their challenges is determining how to move to the next step of their life and what fits. And so that's a really important component. For your adolescents getting ready to go to college or to get through the next stage of their life, some people are hitting a midlife place and they're trying to figure out what they need to do next.
And Chris, I know you're really interested in the spiritual issues and the Christian counseling aspect of it. And for example, if a parent said, you know, this child has been raised in a faith-based home and now they're rejecting everything, is that sometimes the kind of person that might come for counseling?
Oh yeah, one of the things as a faith-based counselor, my job is to go where they are. And what we do on our intake, there's a sheet that asks about where they're at spiritually, and sometimes they say, I don't want to talk about that. But most of the time they tell us what their base of faith is, what faith they are in, and what they want to receive from counseling. I have an entire selection of faith-based, clinically sound resource books for what I call lay people that they can use to help them with these issues of life. It's a big question a lot of times in counseling is the confusion with my faith.
Yeah, because I can see, and particularly as a college administrator, I saw this in college all the time.
Yes.
That they began questioning and they didn't accept mom and dad's faith anymore, and they were confused about what they did believe in. I'm really interested in the next area, emotional and behavior issues in children. Is that like bullying?
It can be. Yes, it can be. It can be autism, Asperger's. These are challenges for children. It can be some children, we have unfortunately children who were born to parents with addiction, a mother with addiction. So they have specific issues in controlling emotion or behavior. Sometimes we have children that just need help with reparenting. And so it's a combination of parent and child training.
And then the age and caregiving issues, the aging and caregiving issues.
It's a real problem in our society today. A lot of us are the sandwich generation. Our parents are aging. Our children are having difficulty launching because of the economy. And so sometimes you have to figure out, how am I going to take care of my parent while I'm working full time, and then I have my children still trying to get launched. And it's a real issue in society.
Or moving back home and...
Yes, yes.
We got to redo this.
Yes.
And then the chronic illness and pain management that creates so much problems around those people that are going through that.
This is a traumatic experience. If you have cancer or you have another debilitating illness and suddenly all of life has changed, it is so important to get some counseling and help so that spiritually and emotionally you're also learning how to cope with the physical changes.
And then self-mutilation, and this is all ages. This is little children as well as
our adolescents are where it's the most chronic, and generally it's a misunderstood gesture of a lot of parents are terrified their kids are being suicidal. I call it pain management. It's unfortunately a not healthy coping skill for children, and it's an outcry. When I have a child, an adolescent in my office who is cutting, I have to do an assessment to see what is the emotional trauma that they're trying to cope with.
You know, Chris, you said that when you were in college, you were a youth, worked with the youth in your church, or served as a college youth minister. But one of the things that I found is that it's almost like being a life coach.
Sure.
And so we're going to have to take a break right now. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation because we've barely dented what we need to tell you about. See you in just a minute.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.